What is a 1099 employee? Steve here with the Janitorial Store, a channel where we help cleaning business owners scale their cleaning businesses with systems, tools, and resources. Well, you know, this subject comes up so much, I thought I'll do a video on it. You know, I probably hear this once or twice a week, people talking about 1099 employees. Well, you know, there are no such things as 1099 employees. A 1099 is a form that you give a subcontractor or a contractor. You don't give your employees a 1099, you give your employees a W-2. So, you know, if you're considering hiring employees or subcontractors, make sure that you do what you want to do. The last thing you want to do is have an employee that you're going to label a subcontractor and give them a 1099 at the end of the year and expect them to pay for their taxes and stuff. That's why a lot of people have a lot of problems with this, you know, because they listen to what's on social media and they listen to their friends. And you know, I'll be honest with you. In my very first company, I listened to a friend of mine tell me, well, Steve, all you got to do is hire subcontractors. Oh yeah, you just hire people and they pay their own taxes. So I did that for about a year. Well, what had happened is that one of my employees got laid off. You know, we let them go, and they went and they claimed unemployment. So they, you know, did some research and found out that, well, gosh, you know, your company doesn't have any, anybody as employees here. You've got them all misclassified as subcontractors. So we ended up paying a fine and some penalties. You know, thankfully, you know, it was only about a year's time that we were doing that. Otherwise, they would have been a lot worse. But anyway, that's what I got for listening to somebody that didn't know what they were talking about when they were talking about 1099 employees and hiring subcontractors. But you know, you just got to make sure that you understand what it is and make sure you do the right thing. As I say, you know, a 1099 employee is also known as a 1099 contractor, a subcontractor, and again, anybody that's receiving a 1099 form is a subcontractor. That means that they're going to take care of their own taxes at the end of the year. And that's very, very important, because the last thing you want to do is to end up paying other people's taxes. And you will if you misclassify your employees as subs. So, you know, the other thing that you got to think about is that subs are not generally tied to one single company. And that's the one thing that will probably get you more than anything else with all the new rulings of the IRS and so on and so forth. If you have a contractor that is only doing business with you, nobody else, chances are they're probably an employee. Because that's the thing, is that a subcontractor, they're not tied to just one company. They do business with multiple companies. So if you are hiring subcontractors, make sure that they have other clients other than you. Otherwise, that could be a red flag. You know, so some of the things that you can do is that if you know, if you want to determine if your worker is the worker status, well, what you can do is you can complete a form called an SS8, and you can just go do a Google search and you'll find that form. But that form can be filled out by the employer or by the worker, and then it can be sent to the IRS office, you know, for a decision. Now, how many people that actually know that they're misclassifying employees are going to do that? Fill out that form SS8 and turn it into an IRS. You know, the things might not turn out the way they hoped. But, you know, there's a lot of people out there doing that are misclassifying their employees. You know, you just don't try to beat the system. You know, do things right. Get people set up as employees or subcontractors, one or the other. But don't try to beat the system, because you eventually get caught. You'll pay fines and penalties. You know, I've talked to many people that this has happened to. You just don't want that to happen. So again, you know, if you are wondering, you know, the determination of the worker's status, that's all you have to do. complete the form SS8, turn it into IRS office, and they'll have a decision for you. Now, something else we know that we can't do is that we can't train subcontractors or 1099 workers. We can't. If you're training a worker to perform a task, in a certain way, or they may be employees. I'm saying maybe, but chances are they're more than likely employees. But that's the thing, is that we can't train subcontractors on how to do the work a certain way. So if you're providing training for somebody how to clean a house or clean an office, and you're classifying them as a subcontractor, no, they're not. But you have to think about these things. Now, something else that we have to consider is the behavioral aspect of it. And that's what the IRS talks about. They talk about the behavioral, the financial, and the type of relationship. So those are three things that they look at, to hopefully consider or determine, if it's an employer or subcontractor. And those aren't the only things that they look at. There's many things, but those are the three of the main things. So when you look at the behavioral thing, does the company control or have the right to control what the worker does and how the worker does the work, does his or her work? Well, if so, then they're an employee. Financially, are the business aspects of the worker's job controlled by the payer? There you go. That's pretty straightforward. And now, what about the type of relationship? Are there written contracts, between you and the subcontractor? Are you offering employee benefits? Are you vacation pay? Are you offering vacation pay to the workers? Well, they're probably your employees then, and not subcontractors. So, these are all things, like I say, there's so many things to consider, but all I want to do is I just want you to make sure that you understand the difference between hiring employees and hiring subcontractors. Again, a 1099 employee, there is no employee that gets a 1099. They don't. They get W-2s. So, just keep that in mind. And, I think that's probably part of the problem, is that when you do searches on Google and people talk about this, they're always using the phrase 1099 employee. Well, they should change that, because it's not. A 1099 contractor is probably what they should be saying, and not an employee, because that's exactly what they are. They're a contractor. They're not an employee. So just make sure you're doing it right, because again, don't let that happen. What happened to me, in my first company, you will get audited, no doubt about it. All you need is a worker to go to unemployment or wherever, and file a claim, and next thing you know, you will be audited. And then when the IRS audits you, they're going to uncover if you've been doing things legally or misclassifying things, employees or workers, and you will pay fines and penalties. And depending on how steep those are, that might even put you out of business. I do know of a couple of companies that it put them out of business because the fines were so heavy. So, well, one thing that you can do is that you can go out to the janitorialstore.com or myhousecleaningbiz.com, and in the download library, you'll be able to see that we have a whole area on subcontracting, and there's agreements in there, there's documents, and just about everything that you need to put together a good subcontracting system. But you have to be a member to get into the download library. So if you're not a member, go ahead and join as a premium. They'll give you access to all of our LMSs, over 9,000 training videos, and you can be a pro member, and that will get you access to the download library also. So do that, and you'll have all the documents that you need to set up your subcontractors for your business. So, well, hopefully you got some value from this video, and if you did, feel free to make a comment or leave a like down below. And if you have not already, make sure that you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications to get the latest updates on new videos to help grow your cleaning business. Thanks for checking in today, and remember, let's keep it clean out there.